on a new source of live food. I'm going to try to grow whiteworm, a whiteworm culture. I'll put the Latin name somewhere down there. I didn't look carefully at what I bought to grow them in. Yeah, so they live in soil, and you can let the birds forage in soil for them, and you can also sort of extract them and put them into water, and they wiggle, and that might be a way to feed them. One nice thing about them is they're prolific if you can keep the cultures alive, and if the birds will eat them, they don't turn into anything, so you don't end up with beetles or moths or anything like that, so that's kind of cool. So they need a cool temperature, you need to feed them. So, and what I first need to do is set up some little dishes that they can live in and drill some holes, so that's what I'm doing. For air holes. Now, since I wasn't careful about looking at what kind of things I bought, they have this little divider in here. So maybe what I do is pretend I did that on purpose. Maybe what I can do is, they have to stay moist, so maybe I'll put the soil in this side and the worms in this side, and then put some water in here to keep the humidity level up, keep it from drying out. Or maybe I just put worms on both sides. I don't know. I'll make it work. Alright, now I need... So I'm actually not using soil. I'm going to use peat moss, which retains moisture well. And it's really friable, and so that seems to be what the worms want to live in. Isn't it funny that taking care of birds means you have to take care of worms and flies? Mind you, for those of you who don't know, not all finches require live food, but the kind that I keep do. So that's one of the commitments when you select the finches you want to keep, to know what their dietary needs are. So that's where they'll grow. I have 3 more as well. And now, what do you think about when the population gets to be large? I scoop out a chunk, put it in this, and then let the birds forage in it. What do you guys think about that? It's heavy enough they can land on the edge. It's big enough that they can scooch around in it, I hope. I might do a little test. Okay. So I'm going to use distilled water. I don't know for sure if that's necessary. It's supposed to be somewhere between wet and damp, they say. They also want you to be super careful not to cross-contaminate the cultures. And they talk about them crashing. I'm excited. So these whiteworms are often fed to fish, used by aquarium keepers, fish keepers. If this were to work, then what that would let me do is give a nice colony of live food that will give them something to look for throughout the day, because, you know, with the fruit flies, I had to replenish when they're really looking for food for the chicks. I had to replenish it 4 times a day. Well, I also have a job, a real job. So that was really challenging. And, you know, I'm up at 4:30 in the morning making sure the food's out and stuff. So maybe this would buy me a little bit of wiggle room if I, you know, needed to do something other than take care of you guys. Okay, so these are my cultures. Do you see? Like, see there's a little worm there? So, look at them. Oh, see, there's some on the lid. That's what, so the fish people, they put something like this in there. Wow, they ate their food already. And then they stick to the lid, and then you can scrape them off and feed them just the worms. I'm going to do a test. I'm going to put some, I think I have enough. I can already do a little test. And what I'm going to do, oh my gosh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this in here, and the birds can hunt around for them. So, you guys might laugh. Hi guys. Okay, wait. Focus. I have been feeding them Zupreme pellets because Lord knows my birds won't eat them. And you put the pellet, the food, like you could, there's a whole bunch of stuff, you can look it up. A bunch of stuff that you can feed them. But you put the food at the top, and then the little dudes come up to the surface in order to eat. Oh my gosh, look at all those worms. Can you see them? I don't know if you guys can see them. See all those little white things? Those are worms. You guys are going to love this. All right. Oh, I got to give you food. Hang on. You guys ate all of your stuff. All right. And then you're supposed to keep them in a cool, dark place. All right, so I've been putting these in my drawer. Seemed like a good spot. It's a little bit too warm in here for them, but the refrigerator's a little bit too cold. I cannot tell you how happy I am. Right after I put away the containers, I brought this into the aviary and just sat and watched, and then I had to go off and do some stuff, and I came back. And I had to do some stuff, and I came back, and maybe 2 hours later, this is the video clip that I was showing you all along. This is such a big deal, and it's so fascinating to me to watch how Wesley worked up his courage to, go in there. And I'm kind of surprised at this technique. So he gathers up a clump that must have some worms in it, and then he goes off and he breaks up the clump. So that must be a real treasure. I'd like to see the goldbreasts doing the same thing. That would be awesome. But once one bird starts, often they teach each other. So this is fantastic. It's just, I am so excited. This could be a really big deal. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope that was interesting. Maybe you'll find it's worth exploring as well.